everyone. Do you know what day it is today? Yeah, you're right, it is Tuesday the 9th of February, but it's also another special day. There's a bit of a clue right there. You're right, today is also Safer Internet Day, and I would like to just take a little bit of time to talk to you about what that means. Okay, let's just move my slide a little bit closer. And let's begin. So, what is Safer Internet Day? Well, we've been marking Safer Internet Day every year across the world since 2011. Okay? Every year we have a theme, and this year's theme is An Internet We Trust, Exploring Reliability in the Online World. And this looks at why inaccurate content exists, where it comes from, and what you can do if you ever find it. So my first question for you, have a little think about, is what do you use the internet for? I want you to think of all the ways that you use the internet and your family may use the internet, and make a quick list, or try and think of 3 things. Let's try and think of 3 things that you use. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Okay, I hope you came up with quite a long list. Now it's very likely that you came up with one of my answers. I did it here. So I thought 3 reasons why we use the internet. Well, 1, we use it for entertainment. So for watching videos or listening to music or, looking at films. We use it, especially now, to communicate. So it's a really, really powerful tool to communicate with family and friends that we can't see during lockdown. We're communicating all your remote learning to you every day through Google Classrooms. And the third thing is that it helps us learn new things. So if we're not sure about something, I'm sure lots of us have jumped onto the internet, gone into Google, quick search engine, to see what we can find out. So those are the 3 main reasons why we use the internet. Okay, I wonder if you agree. Now, who can use the internet? So can you think about the type of people that you think are using the internet? For the moment, I would say there's so many people out there using the internet. I bet your families are working from home. You're using the internet, as I said, to get your remote learning. The teachers are using the internet to share information with you. Families are using the internet. So many people out there. In fact, if we looked at all the people in the world who are using the internet, it's about 4.5 billion people, which is like 58% of the whole world. Now you might say, well, everyone seems to be using the internet, Mrs Elsley. Why is it not 100%? And the reason is that some places just don't have the connectivity that we take for granted. We're very lucky here in the UK. We have our Wi-Fi connections, we have our 4G, we pick it all up. But in lots of countries, they don't have that internet connection, and they are not using the internet as much as we do. In fact, the UK is a very keen internet user. And if we looked at just users in the UK, it actually goes up to 92.5% of the population are using the internet on a regular basis. That means in a class of 30 children, 28 of them would be on the internet all the time, which is just amazing. So how are we accessing the internet? Well, no surprises, the most popular way that we are using and accessing the internet is on our phones. So we're carrying the internet around with us all the time. But of course, we're also using our laptops and our iPads, especially now, as I said, to do our remote learning. But there are lots of other devices that are in daily use that rely on us using the internet. It's not just laptops and iPads now. There are lots of devices in the home, and obviously gaming consoles, but things like ebook readers, smartwatches, sat-navs, TVs, doorbells and security systems. Before lockdown, I was looking for a new fridge. I even saw a fridge that connected to the internet. I could send a message to a supermarket of my choice when I was running out of milk. Wow, that's just crazy. So we are literally accessing the internet on lots of different devices and lots of times. And that's why it's important that we think about how we use the internet and how we use it safely, because we are using it so much. So the first thing I want you to think about is your online identity. Okay? This is about how much information we share about ourselves, what we share, and how we talk to others online. So I'm sure you've all been on apps and games where you've had to create an avatar or a profile. Here's an example of a profile here for Sarah Bailey. Do you think this is a safe profile picture? What do you think? Oh, let me go back. If you said no to that previous one, you're absolutely right, because actually Sarah Bailey was showing too much information. You should never share a photo of yourself online, because you don't know who is accessing that profile, and you don't know the people who are looking at your photo. So please don't show photos of yourselves, and please don't feel you have to share all your name and information. Okay, you should only give a very small, a cartoon, a picture of something you like, little dog, little cat. You can even use a nickname. The information that you share should always be, keep your identity as private as possible. Okay? Because we need to make sure that the internet we're using is an internet that we trust. And this is why this year's theme is all about exploring reliability. It wants us to think about also the information that we read and how much we trust the information. I'm sure lots of you have heard the term fake news. There are lots of real and fake news, and this is what we need to try and work out. Okay. So, there are lots of ways we can stop spreading fake news. And when I say make sure that the information that we're reading is definitely fact and not fiction. Because the information out there that you're reading can influence and persuade and even change our decisions and opinions. So it's really, really important that we trust the information that we're reading, make sure it is true, and make sure that we are not believing something that is just made up. And here are some really key questions that you can ask yourself, or do, if you're not sure about if it's fake. So you could say, who wrote this? Did it come from someone that I trust? Do I recognise the name? You might want to think about why it was written. You might want to think about if it upsets, if you're reading something and it upsets you, how can I help my friends? And you might want to think about only sharing things that you know are true. Okay, so there's lots of things out there, information out there, videos out there that aren't true. If they're not, they don't need to be passed on and they don't need to be shared. Because what we want to do is create an internet that we can trust. Okay, so please check, does it make sense? Okay, does that seem right? If it doesn't seem right, it's probably not right. Maybe it's worth checking other things about, other news videos about the same subject to make sure that they are telling us the same information. Maybe we could check information offline, off internet. So things like newspapers or information books. Or maybe we can ask an adult for help. Okay, so if we're not sure, we can talk about it and say, I saw this. I'm not sure if this is true. There are lots of videos out there at the moment of people doing incredible things, but we have to remember that videos can be edited and manipulated. So sometimes the videos that we see are not entirely true. And that amazing trick that they did with a football might not be quite as amazing as we thought. So, just want to ask you what you would do in each of these scenarios, okay? So, first of all, what would you do? I can't read it upside down, thank you. So what would you do if you saw an advert pop up saying that you had won an amazing prize? Okay. Have a think. If someone came up to you in the street and said, congratulations, you've just won a Xbox, here it is, would you believe them? Probably not. So when it pops up on your screen and says, congratulations, you have just won an amazing Xbox, probably it's the same thing. I wouldn't believe them. Please do not click on anything, close it straight away, and ask an adult to help you remove it if you need to. There are lots and lots of different pop-ups up there which say that they've won prizes or lovely things, but often they just want you to either, it clicks you through to something else that you don't need to be part of, or it might even contain a virus which will damage the device that you're using on. Maybe talk to your adults in the family about installing some ad blocker software that stops these annoying adverts popping up. Okay. Ooh. What about if you saw a link for a video of an amazing new football trick? Well, I've already sort of touched on this, but sometimes, as I said, videos can be edited and might not show something that's completely true, just like how photos can be edited or filtered. So please think about whether or not you think that's actually true and factually reliable. And the last one is, what would you do if someone you play games with online asked to meet you in person? Well, this is an easy one because the answer is absolutely no. You should never, ever, ever agree to meet anyone from the internet. And you must always, like I said, keep your personal information safe and inform an adult straight away if this happens. Again, you can block online users so they can't contact you again. But nobody, you don't need to meet anyone online like that. Because what we want to do is create an internet that we trust, okay? So we make sure all the information and things that we are using on the internet, we question, we think, does that look right? If needs be, we check and we always ask. And if we do those three things, we're going to help create a much safer internet. Okay, so there are my three things just to remind you at the end. That's the message of our safer internet this year, creating a more reliable internet. So question, check and ask, okay? And make sure you keep yourself safe online. Okay. It's really nice to see you all, and I hope to see you in person very soon. Stay safe.